What's going on, everybody? Well, I want to talk about a couple of things in particular related to Terra Luna Classic, namely what's going on with Kucoin and Terra Rebels and the amount of money flowing into them. Could this be better used in terms of production and building out of applications rather than minting from the community pool? We need to talk about how much money it is. It is seriously some pretty big money, so you can all stay around and see exactly what is going on with that. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, all of that good stuff, and let's get over into the market now. My nose is itching for some reason. Here we go. The global market currently sitting $757.019 billion, just marginally down. We have tipped into a new day here in the UK. You can see at the bottom here, 27 minutes past midnight, at the point at which I'm recording this video. But you can see that Terra Luna Classic in the 14.36 range, only marginally in the green, 0.3%. Had a pretty rough day yesterday. Again, we came to test this resistance line that we have, this trend line we drew back up, I think it was about over 10 days ago, and we have obviously seen it just touch on quite a number of these points, particularly these last few days. Now, we did obviously see this breakout, which then on that Binance news brought us all the way back down. It's very interesting when you start to put your tinfoil hat on, Swamp, and think about exactly where that is. Again, touching these support levels that we've drawn on the chart. Now, you know my view, I'm a very basic novice at technical analysis, but at the same time, it does feel like Terra Luna Classic right now is being suppressed. It's being kept low. Again, it's a tinfoil hat moment, but you can see where it's just testing all these lines. We literally saw a breakout over this trend that you would then expect to maybe start to run up, and we saw obviously that Binance change to their burn mechanism. So we'll see kind of what happens, but you can see here in the last 2 days, we literally have tested this line and then rejected it on both occasions. So again, third time lucky. Hopefully we potentially see a breakdown. Now, historically, the global market tends to dump on the 31st and then rally into the early part of January. So we're gonna have to stay very close to exactly see what happens. Now, with that being said, let's talk about Kucoin. Now, we saw them today undelegate 48 billion Luna Classic from their validator node. Now, for what it's worth, it didn't really do anything. They didn't vote on anything. They weren't part of the ecosystem. It was purely there, in my opinion, to generate rewards from a bear market perspective. Well, now, Kucoin isn't going solvent. A lot of people saying, oh, it's going to go down. $2.3 billion is their current backed assets. I'm not in a world where I think Kucoin is going to go, but I do equally think it's very, very interesting, particularly when you look at the staking rewards and, more importantly, how quickly some of those rewards are being generated. Now, if you've noticed, our rewards are down, and the reason the rewards are down is ultimately the transactions within each block are significantly down from where they are. You can see the number of transactions here in these last few blocks: 6, 2, 3. That one would have been a good block at 120, 123, 120. So we are seeing bigger ones, but ultimately our on-chain volume, our on-chain interactions where we are mining and staking, to validate these blocks, just isn't enough transactions in them, hence why your staking rewards are down. Now, you can see a lot of the validators here, and Kucoin interestingly went from a 5% stake power to down to less than 1%, and we can actually see it here. They currently sit with a voting power of 0.21%. Now, here's the interesting bit with Kucoin. For the entire time they have been validators, they have voted on 2 proposals. Well, what does that mean? It means they have no interest in the survival, no interest in the longevity of this chain, and ultimately they are in it for the short term as opposed to the long term. So again, this does beg a different question though, as to when you are choosing your validators, it is important more than ever to understand, do they have your best interest as a holder and investor in it? Kucoin, in my opinion, removing their Terra Luna Classic, they're going to go and do something else with it. They're going to, move away from this validator node. They may be going over to Ethereum. There's a debate about Solana. Who knows? But it clearly means, for me, they are moving their money from the Terra Luna ecosystem, as I think the rewards for validators just simply are not good enough. Now, the argument is they're not trying, but I think that's exactly where it sits. We can see some of these are really starting to ramp up in terms of their commission and in terms of their delegation. But again, I would urge anyone, allnodes.com have a huge voting power, 19.58%. They can sway any governance proposal. This therefore takes our incredibly decentralized blockchain and makes it incredibly centralized. So really think about who you're voting on. Come across to atomscan.com/terra. Check out who it is. What have they voted on? Have they got your best interests at heart? Is something you would vote on as a proposal they are doing? And equally, do you have a say in the validator's choice? I think it's important that we are selecting the right validators to ultimately support our chain. We had our fingers burnt with Binance. More than ever, it is incredibly important that we choose the right ones. With that being said, with that being said, this next bit, again, this is not meant in any way, shape or form as a direct attack at Terra Rebels, but I wanted just to bring you this information because as an investor, I think it's worthwhile understanding, and more importantly, context the requirements for $150,000 to be minted out of that community pool. And it begs the question, why has it not gone back in it? So here we go on the Terra Rebels. This is on the Open Collective webpage. This is a point in which a company or a operation can set up their financial contribution page, and we can kind of get a feel or a sense of the donations that have been coming in. It talks a little bit about exactly what it is and what they are doing. And more importantly, we then see the contributions. Remember, these are set by the Terra Rebels themselves. So for $5 a month, you can back them. $100 a month, you can make a custom one-time donation, or you can make a crypto contribution. And you can see that people are doing it on quite a regular basis. We then look at top financial contributors. We can see that Arcada has donated currently nearly $20,000. Neblio, interestingly enough, over nearly $20,000. And then into Mojave, Kathy donating there $620. These are number of donations going in. You see contributors are 170 that have donated a significant amount of money into the Terra Rebels. Now, it's important to reference that because when we are talking about validators and we are talking about minting coins out of the community pool, and there is a ton of drama specifically around this, you need to understand that actually there is still some money flowing into Terra Rebels, and the question that needs to be sat on everyone's mind is, what is this money being used for? Is this money, as an example, $40,000 in 2 donations? Where has that money gone? What was that money used for? And ultimately, why are we seeing this incredible divide between the community? Now, we've even had the Layer 1 task force developed on the back of it. So I do think it's important, again, worthwhile referencing. If you're contributing, what are you contributing to? How is this benefiting us? Because again, if you bring us back to the price, we are not seeing this move, and ultimately it does feel like we have stalled a little bit in terms of our development and build out. We obviously have a few proposals going through right now, but again, not aimed at hating Terra Rebels, but we need to be, as investors, be incredibly informed, and we are a sensitive blockchain right now. Bad news tends to spiral the price. Good news tends to pump us 15%. So it's important as investors we understand exactly where our money's going and what our teams are doing. So that being said, that's what I've got for you in this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you found this useful. If you found this content useful, then be sure to subscribe to the channel. Give it a thumbs up so I know that you like it. And as ever, guys, thank you so much. Have a great new year, and I'll see you all in the next video.